awesome. As a bat signal, that's your... Oh, sorry. That's your signal. That means we have to go now.
Yeah, that's what that means.
It's so cool.
What is up, super friends? Tamoor here, and I am very excited about the Justice League movie. And I know what you're thinking, and I agree, the DCEU is a bit rough, but when you put all those iconic characters together, characters I'm a huge fan of, can't help but get a little bit hyped about that. If you're a fan of DC or the DCEU, make sure to subscribe to GameSpot Universe, as we'll be reviewing Justice League and doing some deep dives into some of the more unfamiliar characters, like Cyborg and the villainous Steppenwolf. But before all that, I wanted to give you a quick primer on everything that's happened in the DCEU, so that by the time you watch Justice League, you'll have all the information you need to enjoy this all-star superhero flick. Technically, the first movie in the DCEU is Man of Steel, but its contribution to the wider cinematic universe was actually added in retrospectively through Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Beyond that scene, which we'll talk about later, Man of Steel's hints at a bigger universe come mainly in the form of Easter eggs that, at the time, were nods to fans instead of set up for the future. While things like its blink and you'll miss it, keep calm and call Batman sign, and the Blaze Comics reference to Booster Gold are kind of throwaway, there are some substantial Easter eggs that help sell the idea that DC's heroes exist in the same universe. Most notable is the presence of the Wayne Enterprises satellite, which, obviously, means that Batman is out there somewhere. On top of that, a character called Dr. Emil Hamilton makes an appearance, and DC fans will know that he works for Star Labs, the same organization responsible for transforming Victor Stone into Cyborg, a founding member of the Justice League. Like I said, Man of Steel very much had isolated references. Warner Bros. Didn't really have a plan to create an interconnected universe, and everything that happened after it leading up to Justice League was very much a response to Marvel's success, which brings us neatly to Batman vs Superman. Batman vs Superman brings Bruce Wayne and his crime-fighting alter ego into the mix by recontextualizing the scene from Man of Steel in which Superman and General Zod duke it out in the city. While the two Kryptonians plummet through skyscrapers, on the ground level, Bruce Wayne watches buildings, one of which is his own, fall around him. He attempts to do what he can to save anyone in danger, but in that moment he also comes to the conclusion that Superman is as much a danger as he is a savior, thus igniting the battle between them that plays out throughout the film. In comparison to Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman's references to a wider, interconnected universe and the Justice League movie are much more overt. The first major one is when Bruce Wayne falls asleep and has a nightmare in which he's trying to recover some kryptonite but is ambushed by Superman loyalists. During this sequence, a giant Omega symbol can be seen burned into the earth. This is a reference to Darkseid and the world he rules over, Apocalypse. Later in the scene, parademons descend upon everyone, and yep, you guessed it, these flying pests hail from the fiery pits of Apocalypse. Although Darkseid isn't the villain for the Justice League in the upcoming movie, the main villain is still connected to him. We will get to that guy later though. When Bruce wakes from his nightmare, a portal opens in front of him, and amidst the swirling winds and crashing lightning bolts, the Flash reaches out to give Bruce an ominous warning and an emphatic mission.
Find us, Bruce! You have to find us!
Later on, Bruce gains access to Lex Luthor's secret files and finds a photo of Diana Prince, also known as Wonder Woman, standing alongside a few World War I soldiers. The events leading up to this photo are explored in Wonder Woman's own film, which was released following Batman vs Superman. Nevertheless, in that moment, Wonder Woman is put on Batman's radar. Lex's encrypted files also lay the groundwork for the rest of the Justice League heroes. When Diana gains access to them, she notices a folder called Metahuman Research, and within it are 4 files. One contains information on her, while the other to someone called Red Streak, a person able to move at superhuman speeds in a flash. The third file shows video footage captured underwater, where a bearded man wielding a large trident emerges from a cave before stabbing the camera. This irate deep sea warrior is undoubtedly Aquaman. Finally, the remaining file is a video from Star Labs in which Dr. Silas Stone talks about the imminent death of a subject, before moving on to suspending clinical protocol in favor of something more drastic. Motherbox, a strange living computer originating from New Genesis, can be seen floating over to the remains of a young man in the background, then converging with him. The result is the superhero we all know as Cyborg. In the final moments of the film, Lex Luthor alludes to the arrival of a big bad.
It's found us.
The slow zoom into a painting of a war between heaven and hell with demons coming from the sky is a reference to Apocalypse, the parademons, and Darkseid. However, the main villain for Justice League is actually set up in a deleted scene known as Communion. This scene originally takes place when Luthor enters the Kryptonian ship, and while he's there, he sees a floating vision of the new villain. The figure seems to be created from a sand-like material and quickly disperses. As you've probably guessed, the boxes are likely the aforementioned mother boxes, but the mysterious figure is a new character called Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is an axe-wielding apocalyptian general and one of Darkseid's most loyal followers. He also happens to be Darkseid's uncle in the comics. His first comic book appearance was in New Gods number 7, and his major role was to incite a war between Apocalypse and New Genesis, where the mother boxes hail from. His exact motivations aren't clear, but if I had to guess, it's probably destroy everything and make it nice and cozy for when Darkseid rolls into town. Like Man of Steel, Wonder Woman's solo movie is a little lighter with references to the wider DCEU. In the final scene of the movie, Diana is looking at the picture of her with Steve Trevor taken during the World War. This is the same picture that Bruce Wayne recovered from Lex Luthor's files and returned to her, and Diana shows her appreciation with a nice little email. It's a small thing, but it shows that the two are on good terms and, as a result, primed for working together should the need arise. She then says that her mission is to become protector of the world around her. She's pulled away from her iPad emails by the distant sound of a boom, and although this is speculation, that sound could signal the arrival of the Apocalyptian assault. In the DC comic universe, the extra-dimensional point-to-point Einstein-Rosenberg bridge, better known as the Boom Tube, is a gateway between worlds that can be created using the Mother Box, and the opening of a gateway is often preceded by a boom sound. Boom tubes have repeatedly been used as a gateway to Earth by extraterrestrial forces, and they could be how Steppenwolf and the Parademons arrive. There you have it, all the references to an extended universe featured in every DC movie so far. Now your utility belt is packed with all the information you need to go in there fully informed. Whether you're a fan of DC and Justice League or not, let me know if you're excited about the movie in the comments. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and that like button to boost our egos. And if you want to talk to me about comics more, find me on Twitter, I'm @TamoorH, and I will see you in the next video, probably.